Okay, I guess you all know why you're here today and why we're here. We'd like to introduce the new group of 14 astronauts that we've been in the process of selecting for about the last 4 months. As a preliminary, I might give you just a brief rundown on how we ended up with these 14 individuals. I think you're all familiar with what our basic criteria was this time versus the last. The only, what you might consider major change, was that we went to operational pilots with over 1,000 hours flight time. It did not require or make mandatory the requirement for experimental test pilot. Based on this criteria, we ended up with approximately 500 military and 225 civilian applications. Out of these, we ended up with 71 military recommended to us and 65 civilians who were eligible. We pre-screened this group, selected 34 out of it for interviews. In the process of the medical exams at Brooks, 6 of these were dropped as having medical problems which were unacceptable, which left us with 28. And out of that 28, we end up with this group of 14 you have today. The statistics on this group are service affiliation: 7 Air Force, 4 Navy, 1 Marine, and 2 civilians. We have 8 test pilots in the group. We have 1 PhD. We have 6 with masters, and another will have a master's by the time he comes on board. It may be of interest to note the comparative numbers with this group versus the last 2 that were selected, primarily the Mercury in a group we selected last year. The big difference is in total flying time, as you might expect. The Mercury group had 3,500 hours total at time of selection. The latest group has 2,300. The jet time, however, is higher on this group than on the Mercury group, and it's about the same as the last 9. The age, Mercury was 34.5 at time of selection. The last group, 32.5, and this group is 30. And the other big factor is the educational background. Mercury averaged 4.3 years of college. The last group, 4.6. This group is 5.6. Okay, with that, I'll let each individual introduce himself from right to left.
I'm Major Edwin E. Aldrin, Jr., United States Air Force, from Montclair, New Jersey.
I'm Captain Bill Anders, Kirtland Air Force Base, New Mexico.
Captain Charles A. Bassett from Dayton, Ohio.
Lieutenant Alan Bean, Jacksonville, Florida, hometown, Fort Worth, Texas. You got a good start. You said it.
Lieutenant Eugene Cernan, U.S. Navy, hometown Bellwood, Illinois, presently living in Monterey, California.
Lieutenant Roger B. Chaffee, U.S. Navy, hometown Grand Rapids, Michigan, presently stationed at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, Dayton, Ohio.
Captain Mike Collins, Air Force, Edwards Air Force Base, California.
R.W. Cunningham, civilian. I'm presently residing in Van Nuys, and my hometown is Santa Monica, California.
Captain Don Isley, Air Force, presently in Albuquerque, New Mexico. My hometown is Columbus, Ohio.
Captain Ted Freeman of the Air Force, stationed at Edwards Air Force Base, hometown Lewis, Delaware.
Lieutenant Commander Dick Gordon, stationed at Monterey Postgraduate School, hometown is Seattle, Washington.
Russell Schweikart, civilian, hometown is Lexington, Massachusetts.
Captain David Scott, U.S. Air Force, stationed at Edwards Air Force Base, California, hometown La Jolla, California.
Captain C.C. Williams, United States Marine Corps, stationed at Quantico, Virginia, hometown Mobile, Alabama.
Okay, we are open to questioning at this time. If nobody's any questions.
Be a little more specific about when these men are coming to MSC and when they will become active members of the MSC staff here in Houston.
Yes, we anticipate them reporting for duty on the 3rd of February. They will probably be in town sometime before that to get their personal affairs in shape, but that is the date we intend to start working with them.
Quartered, Major Slayton.
We'll be operating out of Ellington Air Force Base. And I can't, if there are any hands up, I can't see them due to these lights. There you are.
Deke, how about asking them to start one by one and explain why they volunteered for this?
Carry on, Buzz.
Well, I'm not sure whether the fact that my mother's maiden name is Moon has anything to do with it or not. Seriously, while at school at MIT, I became quite fascinated with the field of rendezvous, and naturally the Gemini mission intrigued me quite a bit, and I've been devoting quite a bit of my attention to studying various types of guidance for rendezvous, and this just naturally led to my desire as a fighter pilot to extend my abilities into space and to try and couple the educational opportunities that I had into the engineering development of spacecraft.
Well, I think that there are many reasons why most of us got into the program. I'm sure one of them, as far as I was concerned, was the adventure involved. I think this will be one of man's terrific adventures, the trip to the moon and before. It's one of the reasons I joined up.
Well, I guess I'd echo Bill's sentiments. In addition, possibly it might be that being a test pilot has always been my desired profession. And this kind of appears to me like it's possibly the pinnacle of professional desire in this sort of field.
I've got to go along with Chuck on that. Ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be a flyer and wanted to be a test pilot. And once I became one, this was the next step, and it certainly has interested me, and it looks like it's going to be a terrific program.
I think this is one of the most fascinating and challenging opportunities that's really ever come along to mankind in many, many, many generations. And to put it more precisely, I just feel that it's an aviator's dream to be able to be part of a mission such as the total manned spacecraft mission.
I'll go along with Gene on that. Speaking from the aviator standpoint, this is the pinnacle of all the jobs that comprise the flying game. And the field or the realm of aerospace and flying has always been a big part of my background and my family life, and it just was natural that I wanted to get into this field. And it's a real challenge to mankind and to all our abilities and the engineers' abilities in the program.
Well, I think that landing a man on the moon will be the greatest scientific achievement our country has ever known, and I'd like to be that man, or at least work on the same program with the man who does ultimately end up on the lunar surface.
I've spent the last several years working in space sciences and doing research on an unmanned satellite. I consider this a natural culmination of my training and education and background. I don't believe there's any more challenging job facing man today than manned space flight, and that's why I'm here.
I think it's a great adventure, probably the greatest adventure of mankind, at least in our century. It's also a logical extension of the test pilot's work, and it's also a chance to be of service, an unparalleled opportunity to serve the country.
My reasons are the same, of course. I think we're privileged to live in the era when man will do that of which he has dreamed for generations, for centuries even. And it will be a privilege to take part in any capacity, particularly as a pilot.
I knew by the time I got down here it'd be all answered. Nothing more to do but to echo the sentiments of the people ahead of us. I think this is a natural extension of our life's occupation. It's certainly the most challenging endeavor we are faced with to date, and I'm really pleased to be a part of it.
I think ever since I can remember, I've looked at the moon and had the desire to go there, but it's only been in recent years that I've realized I stand a chance at actually doing it due to the galloping technology we find here in our country. It seems to me that this is the the most exciting thing and perhaps the most important thing that this country and man has done in the last several centuries. And to be able to take part in it at this time is one of the most exciting things that could happen to a man living today.
I might just reiterate all the reasons everybody has put forth by this time, and they encompass just about everything that I desire in a program, primarily the challenge, the opportunity, and the ultimate goal that perhaps we'll reach the moon and find out why man is here and some of the reasons for our purpose on Earth. And also my interest in flying has led me to this position, and my academic background in astronautics being a normal extension also to get in the program.
Okay, I hope all the questions don't take that long to answer. Got one left to go yet. Oh, yeah.
I suppose all of us have boiled down to saying it's the pioneer spirit trying to know the unknown.
Okay, I guess that got to the end of the line. I'd appreciate it if you'd stand up and you ask a question, because I'm having great difficulty in seeing hands down there through the lights.
Dick, maybe you could speak for the group or have some of the group speak. Has there been any kind of a deal made for the personal stories of this third group of astronauts, or will there be, and what's the next step in that direction?
Okay, I'll pick up the ball on that one. The contract that was signed this fall, whatever the date was, had a provision to include any new group that came on board, so they are automatically included in this contract. That's correct.
Senator Fulbright has questioned the necessity for this moon race, Deke, and he says that this $40-some-odd billion being used in this program to try to get a man on the moon before the Russians, possibly by 1970, might better be used here to improve our economic conditions in this country. Would you comment on this?
Well, my obvious answer is I don't agree with him. And I think if you took the line of approach here that you did not spend any of this money on the moon, that doesn't mean that it's going to be spent on whatever anybody else has in mind. I think every program has to stand on its own merits. And you don't pull it out of one thing and automatically dump it to something else just because it then becomes available.
What is the military necessity for this?
The military necessity for the moon? I missed that part of your question.
That's right, for the moon race.
Frankly, I'm not sure what the military necessity is. I don't know that we fully realize at this point in time just what we are going to get out of the moon or not get out of it. I think you can envision some military uses for the moon, but that is not the purpose of our program at this time as far as I'm aware of.
You said this live field contract automatically covers this group?
Yes, sir.
Is that with or without their permission? Isn't it possible that they might not want to peddle their personal story?
Okay, this is correct. This
you
is
want to
strictly.
ask them about it?
I don't think we want to ask them about it here, no. I think this is their option, and they'll have to make a decision somewhere along the line. I wouldn't want to ask them to do it today.
Would you ask each of them to state their religious preference?
Yes, sir. You want to start at the left end of the line?
No religious preference. Roman Catholic.
Presbyterian.
Moravian.
No religious preference. My parents are Lutheran.
Episcopalian.
Presbyterian.
Roman Catholic.
Methodist.
Protestant, no religious preference otherwise.
Roman Catholic.
Protestant in general. I was brought up in a congregational church.
Question, Mr. Bassett, would be all right. Just in your opinion, how important is a science degree to an astronaut?
Would you run that by once again, a little slower and a little louder?
How important is a science degree to the astronaut? A science degree.
Well, I think it would be pretty important just because it will give him an understanding of what he's doing and why. He must know how to talk to people, particularly the learned engineers and scientists that he will be discussing problems with. I think it's important to be able to have a common bond of understanding.
Yes, sir.
Could you estimate how many astronauts you'll need, say, by 1970?
By 1970, the best answer I can give you is that based upon the programs that are now on the boards and being worked on, this group today brings us up through the conclusion of those programs. We assume there will be other programs generated over the years, and of course we will need additional people to cover them. We don't assume that the first lunar landing will be the end of the manned space program by any stretch of the imagination.
Well, you mentioned another selection in 65.
This is correct. We are assuming we will need additional people by then. The programs will be more clearly defined at that point in time, and we can then establish a requirement.
Would it be possible to know the fellow's Boy Scout background, please?
I think so. CC, you want to start that one?
Yes, I was in the Boy Scouts for 3 years, and I attained the rank of a Life Scout with some 15 merit badges.
My career is just about the same as CC's. I was about 3 years in the Boy Scouts with a Life Scout rating.
I was in for about 2 years until the troop folded.
I was a Boy Scout and attained the rank of Star Scout.
I was a Boy Scout, and my promotions were about as limited as they have been in the Air Force.
Very good. Well, I was a long timer. I was in the Scout movement for about 6 years. I was an Eagle Scout with 30-some merit badges, as I recall, and I was also in the Senior Air Scout program.
I'm the first non-scout.
I'm sorry to say I'll have to join Walt in that.
I was in the Boy Scouts for about 7 years, attained the rank of Eagle Scout, and worked as an assistant scoutmaster for a couple of years.
I was a Boy Scout for about 3 years, but my merit badges, I'm afraid, were limited.
I was a Boy Scout for about 2 years, first class, several merit badges.
I was a Boy Scout. A Life Scout.
I was also a Life Scout.
I was just a Boy Scout for a fairly short period of time. I feel that 7 summers that I spent at camp in Maine fulfilled many of the same things that I would have gained from scouting.
Do these astronauts have any particular field they want to go into, such as the Gemini project or the Apollo project, or any particular area of interest that they come into this, into NASA and the Manned Spacecraft Center?
Well, sir, we selected them to fly Gemini and Apollo primarily because these are the 2 programs we have in being.
Well, I meant their personal interests in that particular sense.
Well, we hope their personal interest is in both because that's what we hired them for. If you're talking about the technical areas of responsibility, the breakdown within the programs, I don't think we'll make any decisions along those lines for approximately 4 months after they've been brought on board. We'd like to give them a feel for what the programs consist of and find something that appeals to them more than something else.
Could you possibly outline how they will fit into the Apollo and Gemini programs, and will they be, say, for instance, fly latter stage Gemini missions into Apollo?
Yes, Warren, they'll be integrated into the rest of the group that we have on board at the present time, and we'll use them in the same way. Of course, as you know, we do have people that have more experience in hand right now, and I wouldn't expect any of these gents to fly the first Gemini flight as an example, but we will expect them to fly Gemini flights later on down the line and Apollo flights, the same as the rest of the group. It'll be an integrated operation. We're working with a total pool of 30 pilots now instead of 16, I think is the best way to put it.
How do you intend to work the systems engineering training into the Gemini program, or rather into the Apollo program? Will these men be specifically given systems engineering responsibility?
Yes, sir. At some point in time, we will have to designate an individual as a systems engineer for a specific flight. And, of course, at that point in time, he will then concentrate more on that phase of the job than any other part of it and become an expert as far as that crew is concerned.
Flight thing.
I would think so. This is one we haven't really completely resolved yet. It's a little ways down the road, and we've got a lot of systems to define here, yet we're not really sure what the job really consists of at this point in time.
I'd like to ask Captain Williams, do you plan in the near future to change your status as NASA's first and only bachelor astronaut?
Not in the immediate future, no.
Deke, how do you feel on the joint Soviet-U.S. moonshot possibility?
The possibilities? Well, I think anything is a possibility. I think if we ever attempt to do it, it's going to have some major problems in conjunction with it. From a technical point of view, we've got the prime problem of integrating an interface, and we have a major problem within this country of getting the interface between a booster and a spacecraft, for example, defined and worked out in any great detail. We start talking in terms of working with a different set of basic dimensions, even such as going from a metric to the English. You can envision it being quite a complex problem of coordination. I would not say it can't be done. I would say it would take an extreme amount of coordination between the people involved.
Any of the boys speak Russian?
No Russians.
It's a good start.
See if I can see. I don't see any other hands up back there. Or do we assume there are no? Oh.
Was there any budget limitation that resolved it to just 14 people instead of more?
A budget limitation?
Yeah.
No, sir. It was based strictly upon our best evaluation of our requirements, based on what we know about the programs at this point in time, over the long haul.
You knew you were going to have 14 at the beginning?
Yes, we did.
Would you mind telling us briefly what these gentlemen did all morning, what you briefed them on, and what they had to do when they got together here?
Well, I'd hate to take all afternoon to go over what I went over this morning, but the primary object of getting them together this morning was one reason, public relations-wise, to get some photographs of them, to get some film of them and so forth for distribution. I don't know if it's going out to you gents or where. And my motive in getting them together this morning was to give them a little more detailed rundown of our internal operations here at MSC than they've had in the past, to let them know exactly what we expected of them and what we expected to do with them once we got them on board. I think that generalizes it fairly well without getting into all the fine details.
All of these men have acquired their flying time as a result of service training, or were some of them pilots, with the exception of Mr. Cunningham, I believe, were some of them civilian pilots prior to getting into service? And are they multi-engine rated, any of them?
Okay, since we have two civilian pilots, I'm sure those are the ones you're referring to. I'll let them speak for themselves. Well,
I was a Marine Corps aviator for 4.5 years. I spent the last 7.5 years in the Marine Corps Reserve. I have 2,100 hours total time and about 1,350 hours in jets.
I may be the only person here that got out of the Air Force twice. I was in for 4 years after I left MIT through ROTC, and I flew F-100s there. And I then joined the Mass Air Guard when I got out of the Air Force back at MIT, and was recalled a year later during the Berlin contingency. I am now again in the Mass Air Guard, although that will end again pretty sure.
This morning said that the 7 original astronauts will be too old to go to the moon. I want to know if this is true, first of all. And secondly, another story in the same paper said that the 7 original astronauts will be in the Gemini, and that some of these men will be the second pilot in the Gemini.
all right, sir, to take the first one first, we never have and don't intend to admit that we're too old to fly anything. And we have never set an age criteria on our flight crews. We have applied what we think is a reasonable attrition. We know that people are going to develop physical defects as they get older. It's just a natural human process. But we don't think the age in itself is a realistic thing to work with as a cutoff. It should be an individual thing. So the best I can say is that if we have Mercury pilots that are in as good condition as any of the rest of them at the time of the moon shot, they'll probably be on it. And your second part, I believe, was their participation in Gemini, and they will participate in Gemini. We have not selected crews for Gemini flights yet. I wouldn't guarantee you that all Mercury pilots would be first pilots and these gents co-pilots. It could possibly end up the other way around.
Could we know, please, who makes up the selection board?
I'd prefer not to discuss that. I think we treat this the same as we do a source selection board for any other resource within the program, and I don't think the board can be objective if they're worried about what somebody might think of their decisions.
Could you tell us when and how the group got the final word that they were selected? And number two, they all are wearing little lapel pins. You can't see them from down here. Tell us what those lapel pins are.
You were asking why they have a lapel pin on?
What is the lapel pin? Everybody has a lapel pin.
The lapel pin is a Gemini space.
They were notified that they were selected.
They were notified on Monday by telephone by me.
Which one of the gentlemen holds a PhD?
Major Aldrin on your far left. Do you have any more questions?
Did you get any unusual replies when you talked to them on the phone and informed them?
Well, I think it was obvious they were all pretty excited about it. Had a little trouble with someone being coherent for a couple seconds. But obviously they were all highly enthused about it.
Are there any of the men's parents here at this meeting today?
Any what?
Any of the men's parents here or wives?
I can't answer that. Anybody?
Father-in-law are here, Mr. and Mrs. Ragsdale, that are sitting out there in the audience.
I was wondering, where have you had the people quartered, and do you plan to have a social affair for them and the MSC management get together tonight, or before they go back to their homes?
No, at the conclusion of the conference, they are completely free to do whatever they wish. They can go back to their homes, or they can stay around Houston over the weekend and look around for housing. It's strictly their individual choice. We do not have anything programmed with MSC management. We did have a meeting with them at the time of the selection. They're at the conclusion of it. Yes, sir.
Deke, has the Air Force indicated in any way that they will use your experience and background in training pilots for their work in Gemini?
I'm sorry, I don't think I understood it. You say...
Has the Air Force indicated any desire to use NASA training techniques and elimination techniques in training personnel for their portion of the Gemini program?
Okay. No, they have not. I presume at such time as the Air Force gets an active program going to the extent that we have, that they will be quite interested. As you know, they have the aerospace school running at Edwards now. In fact, quite a number of these gentlemen are students or graduates of that school. And I would expect that at some later date that we would have more liaison along these lines.
Deke, have the gentleman chosen a spokesman yet?
I don't think so. I didn't know that any of our groups had ever chosen a spokesman.
Seems that way.
Are all the wives of the chosen astronauts in favor of their having been chosen as astronauts? We understand there is one bachelor astronaut here, but all the married astronauts' wives, are they all in favor? Are they giving us support?
Well, I think we'd have to ask each individual on that one. I want to start in with Buzz on your far left.
My wife was quite overjoyed at the announcement of my selection.
Mine was also quite enthusiastic about it.
Same old.
I believe mine was the same way. I called her up just a short time ago, and she could hardly talk to me on the phone.
I think this is a natural question in most people's minds. It was mine. My wife was 2,000 miles away this summer. when I found out that I was even in consideration for this program, and I called her up and she was overwhelmed with joy, which certainly is warming to the individual involved. It was to me. My wife was here in Houston. Yes, sir.
My wife has always been very enthusiastic about my flying program and flying career, and I think the excitement and the emotional strain of this program got to her more than it did me, really. And just like Al said, when we finally found out, my wife could hardly talk.
I haven't seen my wife since I found out the news myself. I was off on a trip, but she sounded pretty enthusiastic on the telephone.
My wife was surprised, pleased, and relieved.
My wife is very enthusiastic. She's been very excited since we found out that I was to be assigned here. Actually, this is a kind of a program that you couldn't very well take part in without the full and complete support of your wife.
Of course, my wife was enthusiastic too, and I give her credit for me being here today.
I think... How was that?
Trying to get rid of it?
I'm sure that none of us would be here without their concurrence. My wife has been behind me and has concurred in all of the important decisions that we have had to make during our lifetime.
Well, when this all started out, my wife didn't think I had a chance with the spelling of my name here. You can't have an astronaut with the name of Schweikart. But when it got to the point where I might be chosen, she was very enthusiastic, and in the end, I think she'd have been more disappointed than I if I hadn't made it.
As I believe it is with all of us, my wife was 100% behind me and the program.
Well, none of my lady friends have none have voiced any objection to my getting out away from here.
Do we have any other questions?
Deke, do you have any theoretical washout rate considered in this program, the astronaut training program?
For the training program?
Yes.
No. We don't assume we're going to lose anybody during the training program. We don't assume we're going to lose them in space flight either.
From here.
Do we have any other questions?
Deke, do you have any theoretical washout rate considered in this program, the astronaut training program?
For the training program?
Yes.
No. We don't assume we're going to lose anybody during the training program. We don't assume we're going to lose them in space flight either. We think the thing we're probably going to lose people on is physical examinations more than any one thing.
Well, then you don't select numbers considering an overage on the basis that some.
Yes, we have a question. I'm sorry. Yeah, we've selected more than we'd have to. In other words, we've got more people than we need to plug in on a flight-to-flight basis. We've got to have a question for just general planning purposes.
Is there a figure or a number for that?
Oh, I guess the good estimate would be about 10%. There's a number of things you have to think about here, and it's all pretty arbitrary. We don't have any background information to establish one on, obviously. Are there any other questions?
Okay, Deke, I think they're all out of, are they all out of questions? Here we are.
One more, Deke. There. What do you envision will be the training program for the third group of men by the time they get on board for, say, the first 6 months or a year?
Okay, it'll be quite similar to the way we started off the last group of 9. We anticipate around 4 to 5 months of fairly intensive academic training in the field of astronautics, orbital mechanics, selenology, the whole business that we've already gone through that you're aware of. And in conjunction with this, we will give them systems briefings on the systems that we are flying, bring them up to speed on the spacecraft and the boosters, and have some orientation tours around to the various facilities that are manufacturing these things. So this will consume about the first 5 months, and then from that point we'll get on into the integration, into the design type integration that the rest of us are engaged in now.
By the time this 6 months is over with, or is the Apollo design not set that definitely yet?
No, none of these things ever get set in concrete up to the day you fly them. It's a continuous process, and even after you fly them, you change them based on what you learned on that flight. So it's a continuous effort.
Speaking of integration, was there a Negro boy in the last 30 or so that you brought here for consideration?
No, there was not. Okay, I guess we're through, Paul.
Yeah, well, we wanted to break out for some stills here, and there may be some people who want to get special things, but let's give the stills about 10 minutes. And I think there was one request for a line of 2 out front here, and also something on the stairs. In the interest of safety, I think we ought to push these desks back a little bit, or that attrition rate may set in now. Got any able-bodied stage hands over there? Yeah.
That's Hurley. Good to see you, Deke. Deke, to these files, I just wanted to ask you.
No, I have mine, No, well, I just, thought if anything came up, I can work through you or bring it up to you. No, I don't know. I just want to meet you. We met at Mr. Johnson, but I just want to know. I'll work through you. Thanks, dude.
Whoever you're on board out down here, so I can drop in.
What is the day? Do you know?
Maybe like you know, good look like that.
Hey, gentlemen, look over here, please. That's it. I just transferred the Boy Scout question. Al Dean? Yeah. Al, can I chat with you if you get off here? Al.
This guy is another he doesn't have an awful lot of flying.
Say, John, congratulations.
Hey,
I'm
hi,
glad to
good to
see
see
you're a
you.
new
How are you,
astronaut.
Doc? Yeah.
I'm real glad to see you up here.
Oh, yeah. Major.
PhD and all.
Yeah. How you doing?
Fine. And you?
Fine, thank you.
Good.
Well, we're working with
Good to see you again.
Good to see you. See you later.
Fine.
Okay, Chuck.
Mr. Slade. Mr. Slade.
So anyway, we got work to do on that one.
Mine's just not being keeping it on. I have to leave the cars. I'm not locked in the spirit. Yeah, exactly. I just want to. No, the only thing is. Turn it on, buddy. Good to see you. No, Val says the only thing that has to happen is if they can pick up. How you doing, Dave?
Yeah. Right.
We'll see you later.
Old time batten down there.
All right, lift off and the clock has started. Yes, sir, reading you loud and clear. This is Freedom 7. The fuel is go, 1.2 G. Cabin at 14 PSI. Oxygen is go. All systems are go.
I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to the earth.
Godspeed, John Glenn. 3, 2, 1, 0. Roger, the clock is operating. We're underway. Loud and clear. Roger, 0G, and I feel fine. Capsule is turning around. Oh, that view is tremendous. Capsule turning around, and I could see the booster during turnaround just a couple of hundred yards behind me. It was beautiful. Roger, 7. You have a go. At least 7 orbits. Roger. Understand go for at least 7 orbits. This is Capcom Impression 7. We are recommending that you leave the retro package on through the entire re-entry. Do you read? This is Friendship 7. What is the reason for this? Do you have any reason? Over? Not at this time. This is the judgment of safe flight. Roger, understand. I will have to make a manual 05G entry when it occurs and bring the scope in manually. Is that affirmed? That is affirmative. Friendship 7.
The ground telemetry receivers had picked up an impulse that we possibly had a loose heat shield. This could have been a bad day all the way around if that had been the case.
Okay, I'm out. Okay, you're out. Okay, I'm coming over. Okay, stand by. You see me yet? Oh, there you are. You're right in front, Ed. You look beautiful. I feel like $1 million. So I'm going to pitch up. And y'all laugh. This is the greatest experience. It's just tremendous. Well, you spared up my windshield, the dirty dog. Yeah.
Break in, Gus.
Houston, Capcom. I don't even know exactly where we are, but it looks like we're about over Texas.
Jimmy 4, Houston, Capcom.
As a matter of fact, it looks like Houston down below us.
Jimmy 4, Houston, Capcom.
Hey, guys, I have your reads, we're right over Houston. See what flight director's got to say.
The flight director says get back in.
This is Jim. What, got any message for us?
Jimmy 4, get back in.
Okay. I don't know, we're coming over the west end. They want you to come back in now.
Roger, we've been trying to talk to you for a while here.
No, back in. Come on. We still got 3.5 more days to go, buddy. Okay.
Gemini 7 and 6, would you continue with the description of your station keeping?
Right now, 6 is about 10 feet above and to the left of 7. We're just flying nose to nose, approximately 15 feet apart.
Gemini 8, contact, how do you read?
We got serious problems here with the controller tumbling end over end, but we're disengaged from the Agena. They're rolling up and we can't turn anything off. Handling everything in a left roll.
CSQ flight.
Go ahead, Blaine.
Did he say he could not turn the Agena off?
No, he says he is separated from the Agena and he's in a roll and he can't stop it. His reg pressure is down to 0, his own reg helium pressure.
Okay, we're down to 1,700 pounds right now on RCSPs.
Roger.
And we have about 2350 on A.
Okay, copy. ACSQ, how you doing?
CSQ flight.
Okay, relax, everything's okay.
Gemini has done much more to open the way to the moon than we could have hoped for 5 years ago. Gemini has demonstrated the feasibility of almost everything we plan to do in Apollo, except land softly on the moon and return safely through the Earth's atmosphere at 25,000 miles an hour. Saturn V is required to inject Apollo into the atmosphere at such speed. But Surveyor has demonstrated techniques for a soft landing on the moon and for effective operation from the lunar surface. Perhaps most important of all, we're amassing a great wealth of operating experience and operating skills. It will be difficult to overstate what it means to the American space effort to be starting the Apollo program with Gemini experience already available to us. We will open the manned flight phase of the Apollo program with a seasoned team with lettermen at key positions.
10, 9, we have ignition sequence start. The engines are on. 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. We have commit. We have liftoff. Liftoff at 7:51 a.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Apollo 8 coming to you live from the moon. Moon is a different thing to each one of us. I know my own impression is that it's a vast, lonely, forbidding type existence or expanse of nothing. We are now approaching lunar sunrise, and for all the people back on Earth, the crew of Apollo 8 has a message that we would like to send to you. In the beginning, God created the heaven and the earth, and the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God moved upon the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. And God saw the light, that it was good. And God divided the light from the darkness. And God called the light day, and the darkness he called night. And the evening and the morning was the first day. And God said, "Let there be a firmament in the midst of the waters. Let it divide the waters from the waters." And God made the firmament
and the might of the waters which were under the firmament, the waters which were above the firmament. And it was so. And God called the firmament heaven, and the evening and the morning were the second day. God said, let the waters under the heaven be gathered together into one place, and let the dry land appear. And it was so. And God called the dry land earth, and the gathering together of the waters called he seas. And God saw that it was good. And from the crew of Apollo 8, we close with good night, good luck, a Merry Christmas, and God bless all of you on the good earth.
10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine running. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. 32 minutes past the hour. Liftoff on Apollo 11.
Roger, got a roll from
Tower cleared.
Roger, roll. Houston, Apollo 11, that Saturn gave us a magnificent ride. Roger, 11, we'll pass that on, and it certainly looks like you're well on your way now. Roger, Eagle, and Doc. Roger. Looking good. We are now coming up on 30 seconds to acquisition of the command module. And we'll stand by for that event. Columbia, Houston, over. Houston, Columbia, read you loud and clear. Who me? Roger, bye-bye, Mike. How did it go? Over. Listen, Dave, everything's going just swimmingly. Beautiful. Great. We're standing by for Eagle. Good Eagle, how do you read? Eagle, Houston, we read you now. You're go for PDI, over. Roger, understand. 1, 0, distance 10%. We're still go, altitude 27,000 feet. Same alarm, and it appears to come up when we have a 1668 up. Roger, copy. Throttle on time. Roger, copy, throttle down. Better in the simulator. Roger. Altitude now 21,000 feet, still looking very good. Velocity down now to 1,200 feet per second. You're looking great to us, Eagle. Okay, I'm still on flu, so we may tend to lose as we gradually pitch over. Let me try auto again now, see what happens. Roger. Okay, looks like it's holding. Roger, we got good data. We're go, think high, we're go. 2,000 feet, into the ag, 47 degrees. Roger. 37 degrees. Eagle looking great, your go. 1,400 feet, still looking very good. Roger, 1202, we copy it. Altitude, velocity, light. 3.5 down, 220 feet. 13 forward. 11 forward, coming down nicely, 200 feet. 4.5 down, 5.5 down. 160 feet, 6.5 down, 5.5 down. 9 forward. 20 feet. 100 feet, 3.5 down, 9 forward. 5%. 185. 75 feet. Guys looking good, down a half. 6 forward. 60 seconds. Lights on. 6. Down 2.5. Forward. Forward. 40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. 30 feet, 2.5 down. Big shadow. 4 forward. 4 forward, just into the right a little. 2.5. 30 seconds forward. Good. Ready? Back light. Okay, engine stop. HPA at a descent. Flight control both auto, descent engine command override off. Engine arm off. Port 13 is in. We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed. Roger, Tranquility. We copy you on the ground. You got a bunch of guys about to turn blue. We're breathing again. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. Neil, we can see you coming. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The limb footbeds are only depressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches. Although the surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder down there. It's very fine. I'm going to step off the limb now. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind. The surface is fine and powdery. I can pick it up loosely with my toe. It does adhere in fine layers, like powdered charcoal, to the sole and insides of my boot. Be sure not to lock it on my way up. Particularly good thought. That's our home for the next couple hours. We want to take good care of it. It's a very simple matter to hop down from one step to the next. Yes, up there can be very comfortable, and walking is also very comfortable. Beautiful view. Isn't that something? Magnificent sight out here. Magnificent desolation. For those who haven't read the plaque, we'll read the plaque that's on the front landing gear of this limb. Dear men from the planet Earth, first set foot upon the moon, July 1969, AD. We came in peace for all mankind. It has the crew members' signatures and the signature of the President of the United States.
Hello, Neil and Buzz. I'm talking to you by telephone from the Oval Room at the White House. And this certainly has to be the most historic telephone call ever made. I just can't tell you how proud we all are of what you do. For every American, this has to be the proudest day of our lives. And for people all over the world, I am sure they too join with in recognizing what an immense feat this is. Because of what you have done, the heavens have become a part of man's world. And as you talk to us from the Sea of Tranquility, it inspires us to redouble our efforts to bring peace and tranquility to Earth. For one priceless moment in the whole history of man, all the people on this earth are truly one. One in their pride in what you have done, and one in our prayers that you will return safely to Earth.
Roger, our guidance recommendation is pings, and you're cleared for takeoff. Roger, understand. We're number 1 on the runway. Roger. Work stage, engine arm ascent, proceed. Beautiful. 26, 36 feet per second up. 5 little pitch over. Very smooth. Now it's got long. Very quiet ride.
And the flags are waving and the cigars are being lit up. And clear across the big board in front is President John F. Kennedy's message to Congress of May 1961. I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth. That has been accomplished.
All 13 is go. We have commit and we have liftoff at 2:13.
Hey, we've had a problem here. Can say again, please. Houston, we've had a problem. main B bus undervolt.
Roger, main B undervolt. Stand by, 13. We're looking at it.
We had a pretty large bang associated with the caution and warning there. Okay, Houston, are you still 813?
That's affirmative. We're reading you. We're trying to come up with some good ideas here for you.
And Jack, our O2 quantity number 2 tank is how to look at that. Now, Luke, today you're looking out the hatch, so we are venting something. We are venting something out into space.
Roger, we copy your venting. Here in Mission Control, we're now looking towards an alternate mission. Swinging around the moon and using the lunar module power systems because of the situation that has developed here this evening.
It's not a very long procedure, Fred. We figure we've got about 15 minutes worth of power left in the command module, so we want you to start getting over in the limb and getting some power on that.
Okay. As we have an apparent serious oxygen leak in the cryogenic oxygen in the service module, the lunar module would serve as a sort of lifeboat for the crew of Apollo 13. The parasynthion near the moon, they would use the descent propulsion system of the lunar module for trans-Earth injection burn at about 79 hours, 30 minutes ground elapsed time. Roger, Aquarius, and you go for the burn.
50%.
Okay, Aquarius, you're looking good.
Copy that.
Service module separation at 138 hours, 2 minutes, 8 seconds.
And there's one whole side of that big piston.
Is that right?
Right by the, look out there, right by the high gate antenna, the whole panel is blown out, almost from the base to the engine.
Copy that.
And it looks like it got to the SPS bell, too.
You can zing the SPS engine bell, huh?
Well, look, that's just dark brown streak. It's really a mess.
Okay, you're going to start powering up the command module.
Right on, we're starting now.
Okay.
That's good.
Okay, copy that. Farewell, Aquarius. Thank you. We've had lunar module jettison.
Odyssey, Houston, we show you on the main, because it really looks great.
An extremely loud applause as Apollo 13 on main chutes comes through loud and clear on the television display here.
Photo 1 observes splashdown at this time.
Another cheer in the control room as we had splashdown.
You might recognize what I have in my hand as the handle for the contingency sample return. It just so happens to have a genuine 6 iron on the bottom of it. In my left hand, I have a little white pellet that's familiar to millions of Americans. Drop it down. Unfortunately, the suit is so stiff I can't do this with 2 hands, but I'm going to try a little sand trap shot here.
That looked like a slice to me, Al.
Here we go. There's the die. One more. Miles and miles and miles.
You can manipulate the rover fairly well in a straight line, and I think we'll be able to get around pretty good. This is really a rock and roll ride, isn't it?
Never been on a ride like this before. Oh, boy.
I'm glad they got this great suspension system on this thing.
Okay, gonna take a little lead to the left here.
Oh, look at the mountains today, Jim, when they're all sunlit. Isn't that beautiful? It really is. My golly, that's just super. It's, unreal.
Dave, I'm reminded of a favorite biblical passage from Psalm. I look unto the hills, from whence cometh my help. Of course, we get quite a bit from Houston, too. Yahoo! Tony Houston, so great you can't believe it.
Oh, I believe it, Charlie.
It's raining, John. Look at it go, would you, Charlie? You got all your steering. It's great. Oh, this is going to be some kind of different ride. The ride is raining, Houston. You're pretty agile there, Twinkle Toes. You bet your life I am.
We got a beautiful picture of you guys up down there.
Let me tell you, Bob, this flag is a beautiful picture. Houston, that's beautiful. This has got to be one of the most proud moments of my life, I guarantee you. Houston, I don't know how many of you are aware of this, but this flag is flown in the
smoker since Apollo 11. And we were proudly deployed on the moon to stay for as long as it can. Honor all those people who have worked so hard to put us here and put every other crew here and to make the country, United States and mankind, something different than it was. I was strolling on the moon one day in a merry, merry month of December. No, May. May's the month. May, that's right. May is the year of the month. When, much to my surprise, a pair of funny eyes. Houston, before we close out our EVA, we understand that there are young people in Houston today, young people from countries all over the world. Probably one of the most significant things we can think about when we think about Apollo is that it has opened for us being the world, a challenge in the future. The door is now cracked, but the promise of that future lies in the young people, not just in America, but the young people all over the world, learning to live and learning to work together. In order to remind all the peoples of the world, in so many countries throughout the world, that this is what we all are striving for in the future, Jack has picked up a very significant rock, typical of what we have here in the valley of Torres Litchfield. It's a rock of all sizes and shapes, fragments of all sizes and shapes, and even colors that have thrown together and become a cohesive rock, outlasting the nature of space, sort of living together in a very coherent, very peaceful manner. When we return this rock, or some of the others like it to Houston, we'd like to share a piece of this rock with so many of the countries throughout the world. We hope that this will be a symbol of what our feelings are, what the feelings of the Apollo program are, and a symbol of mankind that we can live in peace and harmony in the future. A portion of a rock will be sent to a representative agency or museum in each of the countries represented by the young people in Houston today. To commemorate not just Apollo 17's visit to the valley of Torres Litchfield, but as an everlasting commemoration of what the real meaning of Apollo is to the world, we'd like to uncover a plaque that has been on the leg of our spacecraft that we have climbed down many times over the last 3 days. And I'll read what that plaque says to you. The words are, "Here man completed his first exploration of the moon, December 1972 AD. May the spirit of peace in which we came be reflected in the lives of all mankind." This is our commemoration that will be here until someone like us, until some of you out there who are the promise of the future, come back to read it again and to further the exploration and the meaning of Apollo. And as I take man's last step from the surface, America's challenge of today has forged man's destiny of tomorrow. And as we leave the moon and Torres Litchfield, we leave as we came, and God willing, as we shall return with peace and hope for all mankind. Godspeed the crew of Apollo 17.
This circuit, known up until now as Gemini control and Apollo control, will reappear as Skylab control in the spring.
T-minus 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Engine sequence start. 2, 1, 0. We have launch commit and we have liftoff.
Led Houston through the Vanguard. How do you
Got a hard dock out of it.
considerable applause here on the report of hard docking.
And in about 2 minutes from now at 7:22, you will become the new world champs for longest space flight.
I believe that man has once again proved that he can operate efficiently, well, and happily in space in the operation of the space station. Now, I think that also contributes to the scientific end of the thing. I have no idea what they're going to find on our data. We've operated all the experiments to the best of our ability. All of them we didn't do perfectly, but everybody has a learning curve. I think we improved the timeline, and only time will tell the exact scientific returns from the experiments that we've performed.
All engines running. We have a liftoff. And the second man crew has cleared the tower.
Okay, we're docked. That went real well.
Skylab 3 crew, now the new endurance record holders for space flight.
I wanted to ride that bike today for a little bit longer than an hour. I wanted to ride it about 93 minutes.
Sounds like might be a good time to get a big sweat sample.
I want to ride it once around the world just to do it.
Hey, Al, that sounds good.
Commander Alan Bean set a new world's record, pedaling around the world inside the orbital workshop. He was riding the bicycle ergometer, used as an exercise device and also used in 2 medical experiments on board the spacecraft.
No, would you briefly tell us what immediate benefits the man on the street might reap from Skylab?
Well, the most immediate things are perhaps going to come from some of the Earth resources photography that we've been taking. Just today we completed our last pass, as a matter of fact, and there are going to be literally thousands and thousands of films which will be developed and used to evaluate these techniques for the study of our crops, for the study of water resources, mineral deposits, and that sort of thing. And then that longer range program, almost everything we're doing up here, we think, will contribute to our knowledge of ourselves and knowledge of our environment, and ultimately be of benefit to all of our citizens.
A good orbit for the third Skylab crew. Assuming a good rendezvous and mission, they can become the first crew in history to be launched 1 year and splash down the net. Confirm your go orbit. You're looking real good.
Roger, looks great, Houston. Come in, Skylab. We got a hard dock, Houston.
Roger, hard dock. Welcome aboard.
Glad to be here. Roger. Great to be home.
We did a little calculating this evening. We found out that the workshop now in its 2,867th rev is getting something like 285 miles per gallon.
Gallon of what, Bruce?
Per gallon of RP1 and LH2 that were used for injection. Happy New Year, guys.
Happy New Year, Jim.
You 3 guys last evening at a time of 0546 Zulu became the undisputed world space champions. You passed Alf Bean's total flight time record, and that record was 69 days, 15 hours, 45 minutes, and 29 seconds.
Beautiful. We sure got a pretty country, Houston.
That it is.
It's been a real useful machine, Chris. Hate to think we're the last guys to use it.
Yes. Well, it certainly did a good job. Served its purpose.
Soyuz has now been inserted into orbit. This is Moscow Mission Control.
We have a liftoff. All engines building up thrust. Moving out. Clear the tower.
And we got some beautiful sights. Santa Tennis is worth waiting 16 years for. Hey, Dick, we've got Soyuz the Sexton.
Hey, super. Apollo Houston, I got 2 messages for 13 Houston, go at 30 seconds. Roll complete and we're pitching. Roger that. Stand by for mode 1 Bravo. Mark 1 Bravo. 1 Bravo. Command. Altitude 1.2 miles, velocity 1,500 feet per second. Houston, go at 1. We show the cabin relieving. 13, roger. 13 Houston, stand by for S4B to COI capability.
S4B to COI, roger.
Roger, you've got it now, Jim.
We've got S4B to COI.
Booster reports that the inboard engine shutdown was a bit early. We're continuing to burn on the 4 outboard engines. 13.
Go ahead, sir. And Houston, what's the story on engine 5?
Jim, Houston, we don't have a story on why the inboard out was early, but the other engines are go and you're go.
Roger. Houston?
Copy that, Jim. Good deal.
Copy that, Jim. Good deal.
Jim Level reports we have ignition. Level's report would indicate we had very close to on-time ignition. The total burn duration should be about 5 minutes 47 seconds.
Okay, so far.
Houston, roger.
We're hard docked, Houston.
Roger, understand hard dock. Good deal. Fred, one more thing on the TV, if you could come down to F-22 again.
Okay, you got F-22 again. Okay, Joe, I'm pointing over toward Jack, and it's pretty bright with the Earth out that window. Is it sort of washing out the picture here?
No, Fred, it's not. We've got a bright spot where the window is. The rest of you are semi-silhouette. It's a pretty impressive picture.
We're about ready to pull the limb out, Joe.
Okay, 13.
Here she comes. Okay, it looks like we're clear, Joe.
Okay, looks good. It's weird because we get the TV about 10 seconds after you call it.
Okay, Houston, we have the S4B in sight. You go to maneuver the S4B.
Houston, roger that.
Joe, we can see it start to move. However, there doesn't seem to be a lot of debris or vapor coming out of it.
Roger that, Jack. Booster says that's great. He says the booster's doing its thing normally. Concur, we don't see much on the television at all. Okay, 13, we got Fredo on TV.
Roger, Houston. What we plan to do for you today is start out in the spaceship Odyssey and take you on through from Odyssey into the tunnel into Aquarius and show you a little bit of the landing vehicle. And your TV operator is now resting on the center couch looking at Fred Hayes. His head is now just about at the beginning of the tunnel and his back is against the optical area, and Fred will now transport himself into the tunnel and into the spaceship Aquarius. Okay, now one thing I noted, Jack, when I first came across there, that starting upright in the command module and heading down in Aquarius, there's a little bit of an orientation change that, even though I'd been through it once in the water tank, is still pretty unusual. I find myself now standing with my head on the floor when I get down inside the limb. That's a great picture, Jim. You got the light just right.
One of the nice things, Jack, particularly for a novice like myself, is the ease of moving around in here. Of course, as you know from working in the command module simulator, it's really quite a boon to have zero gravity as an aid. It's confining really at 1G to move around very much in there, and it's quite easy. The limb, as you can see, it looked pretty clean. I found a couple of loose washers, about it, and a little plastic cap off the sequence camera had come loose, and I found it lodged over by the ED panel. Okay, right under Jim now. He's actually standing on a what looks to be a can here, and for the sake of all the people back there, housed inside this can is the Leo Massa engine, or hopefully you can see my hand resting on top of right now. The engine that we used to get off of the moon. Immediately adjacent to the engine cover here, I have my hand on a white box now, which has been shown before. This happens to be Jim's Bliss, the backpack, which will supply oxygen and water for cooling while on the lunar surface. This device we hope to make use of for a planned 4 hours and possibly up to as much as 5 hours.
Okay, Houston, for the benefit of the television viewers, we've just about completed our little inspection of Aquarius, and now we're proceeding through the hatch again and through the tunnel and going back up the Odyssey. We might give you a quick shot of our entertainment on board the spacecraft, which has been keeping us company for some time. The little tape recorder has been a big benefit. Has been a big benefit to us in passing some of the time away in our transit out to the moon. And it's rather odd to see it floating like this in Odyssey while it's playing the scenes of 2001. Of course, the tapes would be complete without Aquarius.
Okay, Jim, we're seeing a tape recorder now, and just by the way, how long do you expect to keep the TV on this evening?
Whenever you stand by one.
Yeah, I got him with the Kevin repress valve in there, Jack.
Every time he does that, our hearts jump in our mouth. And Jack, anytime you want to terminate TV, we're all good to go.
Okay, Jim, it's been a real good TV show. We think we ought to conclude it from here now. What do you think?
Roger, sounds good, and this is the crew of Apollo 13. Wish everybody there a nice evening, and we're just about ready to close out our inspection of Aquarius and get back to a pleasant evening at Odyssey. Good night.
Thank you, 13. Dane, we've got one more item for you when you get a chance. We'd like it to stir up your cryo tanks. In addition, I have a shaft and trunnion for a look at the Comet Bennett if you need it.
Stand by. Hey, Houston, we've had a problem here.
Houston, say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem. Main B bus undervolt.
Roger, main B undervolt. Stand by 13, we're looking at it.
Okay, right now, Houston, the voltage is looking good. We had a pretty large bang associated with the caution and warning there. And as I recall, main B was the one that had a amp spike on it once before.
Roger, Fred.
The interim here, we're starting to go ahead and button up the tunnel again. Yeah, that jolt must have rocked the sensor on, see now in O2 quantity 2, it was oscillating down around 20 to 60%. Now it's full scale high again. And Houston, we had a restart on our computer. We had a pink light and the restart reset.
Roger, restart. And restart on the reset.
And I'm looking at our service module RCS helium 1. We have B as Barbara pole and D as Barbara pole. Helium 2, B as Barbara pole. And secondary propellant, so I have A and C Barbara pole. Tmax temperatures. Okay, AC2 is showing zip. I'm going to try to reconfigure on it, Jack.
Yeah.
We got a main bus A undervolt now too, Sean.
Main A undervolt.
Reading about 25 and a half. Main B's reading zip right now. Houston, Odyssey.
Fly one, Jim. Okay, in Houston, we'd like you to attempt to reconnect fuel cell 1 to main A and fuel cell 3 to main B. Verify that quad delta is open.
Okay, Houston, I'm showing, I tried to reset and fuel cell 1 and 3 are both showing gray flags, but they're both showing zip on the flows. Okay, Houston, are you still reading 13?
That's affirmative. We're reading you. We're trying to come up with some good ideas here for you.
Okay, let me give you some reading, okay, in the interim to help main A voltage, Jack. I've got bus tie AC on.
Say again, Fred?
Interim to help out main A voltage, I've got main bus tie bad AC on. Or would you rather accept the 25 volts we're seeing on main A?
Okay, bus tie AC on. Okay, in Houston, we need Omni Charlie, please. Okay, in Houston, we'd like you to verify a couple readings for us. We'd like the nitrogen pressure on fuel cell 1. We need the oxygen pressure on fuel cell 2.
Okay, nitrogen on 1 and oxygen on 2, is that correct?
Negative, oxygen on 3.
Okay. Okay, systems test 1A. Says zip. And 2 Baker, which is 3 oxygen, says 0.6.
2 Baker says 0.6, and say again the other one.
Fuel cell 1 nitrogen reads 0.
Roger, 0. Okay, in Houston, we'd like you to open circuit fuel cell 1. Leave 2 and 3 as is.
Okay, I'll get to work on that. And Jack, our O2 quantity number 2 tank is reading 0. Did you get that?
O2 quantity number 2 is 0.
That's AC, okay. Yeah, that's because of AC. And it looks to me, looking out the hatch, that we are bending something. are venting something out into space.
Roger, we copy your venting.
It's a gas of some sort. Hey, fuel cell 1, you just wanted off the line now, Jack, is that right?
We just wanted you to open the circuit fuel cell
right?
1.
She's off the line.
Well, Control Houston, this rapid exchange of conversation you've heard, the main B bus is off the line. Fuel cells 1 and 3 also off the line. Fuel cell 2 is presently on the line. We now show 13 at an altitude of 178,643 nautical miles. 56 hours, 12 minutes into the flight.
13 Houston, we see you getting close to gimbal lock there. We'd like you to bring up all quad C's on main A, quad C1, C2, C3, C4 on main A, and also bring B3 and B4 up on main A. 13 Houston, you read?
Yeah, we got it. Over.
Okay, can you tell us anything about the venting, where it's coming from, what window you see it at?
Coming out of window 1 right now, Jack. And could you give me the thrusters again?
Okay, the thrusters.
What buses?
We'd like, on main A, we'd like Charlie 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also Bravo 3 and 4 on main A.
Okay, got it.
Reference there is to the reaction control system thrusters. We're at 56 hours, 14 minutes now into the flight.
13, we need Omni Bravo.
Omni Bravo.
Okay, 13, this is Houston. We'd like you to go to your GNC checklist. The pink page is 1-5. Do power down until we get a delta of 10 amps. Over.
All right. Roger.
Well, Control Houston, that last report from Lausma asked the 13 crew to reduce the electrical load on the spacecraft.
Stereo, power down. It's not the pink page, it's the 1-5.
Okay, we'd like you to go down that power down procedure until you get a delta of 10 amps. Over.
Roger, stay. Okay, stand by.
This is Apollo Control Houston, 57 hours, 11 minutes.
4.1.
We now show an altitude of 180,521 nautical miles. Here in Mission Control, we're now looking towards an alternate mission, swinging around the moon and using the lunar module power systems because of the situation that has developed here this evening. We now show a velocity of 3,210 feet per second. This is Apollo Control Houston.
And we have a procedure for getting power from the LEM. We'd like you to copy down.
Okay, stand by, Jack. That sounds like good news. Okay, Jack, about how long is it?
It's not a very long procedure, Fred. We figure we've got about 15 minutes worth of power left in the command module, so we want you to start getting over in the LEM and getting some power on that. And you ready to copy your procedure?
Okay.
Okay, and the CSM.
Stand by.
This is Apollo Control at 57 hours 46 minutes ground elapsed time. The black team of flight controllers is now on station.
Okay, I'm going to maneuver to 060, 090, and 0.
13, we'd like you to check C4 thruster.
Okay, Jack, the battery charge has been terminated on the battery B.
Roger, we see it, Jack. And we got a reading of minus 2 degrees on the docking index. We'd like to know if that's precise or if it's 2.1 or 1.9.
It's minus 2.0 precisely.
Thank you. Kane, we've got one more item for you when you get a chance. We'd like it to stir up your cryo tanks. In addition, I have a shaft and trunnion for a look at the Comet Bennett if you need it.
Stand by. Okay, Houston, we've had a problem here.
Can say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem. Main B bus undervolt.
Roger, main B undervolt. Stand by, 13, we're looking at it.
Okay, right now, Houston, the voltage is looking good. We had a pretty large bang associated with the caution and warning there. And as I recall, main B was the one that had a amp spike on it once before.
Roger, Fred.
The interim here, we're starting to go ahead and button up the tunnel again.
Sure.
Yeah, that jolt must have rocked the sensor on, see now on O2 quantity 2, it was oscillating down around 20 to 60%. Now it's full scale high again. And Houston, we had a restart on our computer. We had a pink light and the restart reset.
Roger, restart. And restart on the pink reset.
And I'm looking at our service module RCS helium 1. We have B as barber pole and D as barber pole. Helium 2, D as barber pole. And secondary propellants, I have A and C barber pole. P-mag temperatures. Okay, AC2 is showing zip. I'm trying to reconfigure on that, Jack.
Sure.
We got a main bus A undervolt now, too, showing.
Main A undervolt.
Getting about 25 and a half. Main B's reading zip right now. Houston, Odyssey.
Fly one, Jim. Okay, in Houston, we'd like you to attempt to reconnect fuel cell 1 to main A and fuel cell 3 to main B. Verify that quad delta is open.
Okay, Houston, I'm showing, I tried to reset, and fuel cell 1 and 3 are both showing gray flags, but they're both showing zip on the flows. Okay, Houston, are you still reading 13?
That's affirmative. We're reading you. We're trying to come up with some good ideas here for you.
Okay, let me give you some reading, okay, in the interim to help main A voltage, Jack. I've got bus tie AC on.
Say again, Fred?
The interim to help out main A voltage, I've got main bus tie bad AC on. How would you rather accept the 25 volts we're seeing on main A?
Okay, bus tie AC on. 13 Houston, we need Omni Charlie, please. Okay, in Houston, we'd like you to verify a couple readings for us. We'd like the nitrogen pressure on fuel cell 1. We need the oxygen pressure on fuel cell 2.
Okay, nitrogen on 1 and oxygen on 2, is that correct?
Negative, oxygen on 3.
Okay. Okay, systems test 1A. Says zip. And 2 Baker, which is 3 oxygen, says 0.6.
2 Baker says 0.6, and say again the other one.
Fuel cell 1, nitrogen, reads 0.
Roger, 0. Okay, in Houston, we'd like you to open circuit fuel cell 1. Leave 2 and 3 as is.
Okay, I'll get to work on that. And Jack, our O2 quantity number 2 tank is reading 0. Did you get that?
O2 quantity number 2 is 0.
That's AC, okay. Yeah, that's because of AC. And it looks to me, looking out the hatch, that we are bending something. We are venting something out into space.
Roger, we copy your venting.
To the gas of some sort. Hey, fuel cell 1, you just wanted off the line now, Jack, is that right?
We just wanted you to open circuit fuel cell
right?
1.
She's off the line.
Low control, Houston. This rapid exchange of conversation you've heard, the main B bus is off the line. Fuel cells 1 and 3 also off the line. Fuel cell 2 is presently on the line. We now show 13 at an altitude of 178,643 nautical miles. 56 hours, 12 minutes into the flight.
15 Houston, we see you getting close to gimbal lock there. We'd like you to bring up all quad C's on main A, quad C1, C2, C3, C4 on main A, and also bring B3 and B4 up on main A. 15 Houston, you read?
Yeah, we got it. Over.
Okay, can you tell us anything about the venting, where it's coming from? What window you see it at?
Coming out of window 1 right now, Jack. And could you give me the thrusters again?
Okay, the thrusters.
What buses?
We'd like, on main A, we'd like Charlie 1, 2, 3, and 4. Also Bravo 3 and 4 on main A.
Okay, got it.
Reference there is to the reaction control system thrusters. We're at 56 hours, 14 minutes now into the flight.
15, we need Omni Bravo.
Omni Bravo.
Okay, 13, this is Houston. We'd like you to go to your GNC checklist, the pink pages 1-5. Do power down until we get a delta of 10 amps, over.
All right. Roger.
Low control, Houston. That last report from Lausma asked the 13 crew to reduce the electrical load on the spacecraft.
Area, power down. It's on the pink pages, the 1-5.
Okay, we'd like you to go down that power down procedure until you get a delta of 10 amps, over.
Roger, stay. Okay.
Low control, Houston. Will.
Did you copy our power down request?
All right, Jack. We're there right now. Where did you say that was located, Jack?
That's in your systems checklist, page 1-5.
Low control, Houston. We repeat again that.
I'd also check for those pages in your launch checklist. They're emergency pages, pink pages 1-5, and we'd like you to turn down until you get
the launch checklist, Jack.
Roger, power down until you get a amperage of 10 amps less than what you got now, over.
Okay.
Low control, Houston. We repeat again that main bus B on the command and service module is now off the line. They're functioning in bus A. Fuel cells 1 and 3 connected with bus B are now off the line.
Okay, Jack, are you happy with the amps we have now?
Stand by one, Fred.
Okay, Jack, and on this page 1-5, we proceeded right down the list, all the way down, and we're right now at BMAG number 2 is at warm-up.
Roger, we copy BMAG 2 and warm-up. We'll follow you through.
Okay, and something is giving us the rates, Jack, both in pitch and roll. So I'm suspecting that maybe it's whatever it is that's bending back there. I've had to use direct in order to stabilize this, and as soon as I do, we're starting to pick up rates again. Can you pick up any jet firing?
Stand by. Direction are your rates in, Jack?
Negative pitch and negative roll.
Roger. Okay, in Houston, we need to get some more instrumentation up. We'd like you to put inverter 1 on both AC buses, over.
Okay. Okay, you got inverter 1 on both AC buses now. And Jack, one of the items that we turned off was all the fuel cell pumps. Okay, and you might let us know when fuel cell 2 needs its pump back. We ought to take care of that guy.
Roger. Okay, Fred, we want fuel cell 2 pumps to AC 1, please.
Fuel cell 2 to AC 1, Roger. Okay, it's on AC 1.
Omni Charlie, please, 13.
Omni Charlie.
Okay, 13, we've got lots and lots of people working on this. We'll get you some dope as soon as we have it, and you'll be the first one to know.
Sure. Okay, Jack, and the weird configuration we're sitting in now is we have the hatch installed. We still have the probe and drogue inside the command module. We're going to stay in this situation until you kind of give us an okay to reinstall the probe and drogue. Or if necessary, to use the LEM consumables.
We'd like to have you put thruster Alpha 3 on main A, please.
Alpha 3 on main A. Okay, Jack, are you monitoring the quad temps and quad A? Package temps?
Affirmative. Dean, this is Houston. We'd like to power down just a little bit more, so let's get BMAG 2 off and make sure your lights are down, over.
Okay, the lights are down and BMAG 2 is going from standby to off.
Yeah, BMAG is part of the SCS system on the Apollo command module. Of course, we're still attached to the lunar module, so this is less of a crucial item to power down at this time. We're at 56 hours, 34 minutes into the flight, continuing to monitor this as Apollo Control Houston.
Okay, in Houston,
Okay,
we'd like
Jack,
you to
now I've
open
got a
service
rate.
fuel cell 3.
Open circuit fuel cell 3.
Go ahead, Jack.
Okay, fuel cell 3 is off the line now.
13 Houston, we'd like you to turn all your Bravo thrusters off and put all your Delta thrusters on main A, please.
All Delta thrusters on main A and all Bravo thrusters off, Roger.
Houston, turn the battery A off.
That's fine, we were pulling battery A off, Roger. You have no transmit? I don't have any current now. It's off. It's off. Fix the bus completely now. What?
13 Houston, we'd like you to isolate your O2 surge tank. Over.
Surge tank off now, Jack. Okay, Jack, are you copying O2 tank 1 cryo pressure?
That's affirmative, and we're trying to get power to that tank. Stand by, we're working on it.
Okay. Okay, we had a service module RCSB light check due to package temperature.
Service module RCSB. We copy, no problem.
Let's read to the lights we got on now. Cryo press, fuel cell 1, fuel cell 3, main bus B interval, fuel compressor.
We copy them, and we'd like to build up the pressure in O2 tank 1, so turn the heaters on manually. We'll watch the pressure for you.
Okay, you want to see, we're going to get a main bus A interval probably.
Roger, we realize that. We feel we can stand 5 more amps on it.
Okay. Okay, heater and tank 1's on.
13 Houston, we'd like you to additionally bring on the fans in O2 tank 1, and we can stand the additional amperage on that.
Okay, bring on the fans in O2 tank 1.
Houston, we'd like you to check some circuit breakers on panel 226. 2 heater number 1, main A, and check the 3 cryo fan motors, tank 1, 3 phases.
Okay, Jack 226 is configured just like it should be. I got 3 react breakers and 3 rad breakers open. All the rest are closed.
Okay, Fred, thank you.
Jack, looking outside, the number of particles has diminished greatly, almost ceased now, which indicates maybe what was venting has almost stopped.
Roger, Jack, thank you. We copy.
Still getting some rates at negative pitch, though.
Roger. And 13, we'd like to verify that both BMAGs are off, please.
Negative, we just have one BMAG. BMAG number 1 is still on.
Okay, Jack, let's take BMAG 1 off.
BMAG number 1 off now.
This is Houston. We'd like you to give us a survey of your displays on MDCs 1 and 2. Give us gauge readings and talkbacks. Over.
Okay, we'll start with display number 1. Check on MDC 1. There is nothing abnormal. All the rate indicators are 0. Well, number 2 is frozen or partially lost main B. I've got ball number 1 appears to be working normally. Right now it's sitting at roll 0, pitch 180, and yaw about 13 degrees. We're going to try and hold 0, 180, and 0. Okay, Houston, the center panel, I'm looking at the RCS indicator A. We have a package temperature of about 180. Our inlet pressure is 3,900. I'm looking at fuel pressure of about 180 and percentage of about, I'd say 85%. P is about the same, except the package pressure is 190. At C, we're looking about the same, except that package temperature is 100. On quad D, we're looking at package temperature of 160, all other indications about the same. CM pressure, RCS pressure is looking nominal. Unit pressure is up around 4,000. And package temperature is about a little less than 80 on ring 1. And about the same on ring 2.
All control, Houston.
Back from the SMRCS, I've got helium 1 now all gray, helium 2 all gray, primary Patron all gray, secondary Patron I've got 2 barber pole and A is barber pole, D gray, C barber pole and D gray. Again, the ECS radiators, barber pole is gray. On the ECS primary indicator. Okay, Jack starting at the top. The cryo tanks H2-1 is reading 230, and the same for 2. Our O2 cryo tank 1 is looks like it's barely holding its own at 300. Cryo tank 2 is reading zip. Our quantities, H2-1 is reading 73, 274. On the O2 side, we're reading O2-1 quantity 76, O2-2 peg full scale high. At temps, primary inlet, we're reading about 55. Rad out is reading about 30, and secondary outlet is reading
All control.
52 degrees, and the vap out temp 45, steam pressure 0.17, glycol discharge 48. Soup compressor is reading zip. The vacuum is reading 30. H2O waste is reading about 34. Portable's reading about 98. Secondary rad inlet is reading about 71. And the rad out is about 30. Glycol evap temp is reading 65. Steam pressure peg full scale high. Discharge pressure 9 psi.
Excuse me, Fred, I'd like to butt in here a minute. We'd like to have thruster C1 off.
One is off.
And proceed.
Okay.
My last copy is secondary rad in.
Okay. Your secondary rad in gave to you 72 degrees. The rad out's about 30. The glycol evap temp is reading about 65. Steam pressure full scale high. Glycol discharge pressure about 9 psi. The secondary accumulator is about 34%. Our temperatures, suits showing about 52 degrees, cabin about 58 degrees. Pressures, suit reading 4.1, cabin at 5. Partial pressure CO2 is up to a little over 1, about 1.1. On the SPS side of the house, the temperature is 72 degrees. Flames reading 3,500. N2A is reading 2,300. N2B about 2,450. Our ullage pressures, fuel is reading about 165, oxidizer 170. Our fuel cell 1, both flows are zip. Skin temp 405 degrees. Condenser exhaust is floor scale. Fuel cell 2. Right now we got an O2 our needs to flow reading of 0.13 to 0.14. And the O2 flow is right now pegged full-scale high, although it's been varying depending on thruster activity, which has also given us main bus A undervolts from a steady reading of about 1.1 up to full-scale high. The T-scan is about 445, and the condenser exhaust 180. Let's see, if you wanted on the DC indicator, fuel cell 1 is 0 amps, 2 is reading somewhere between 44 and about oscillating 44 to 48, again depending on thruster activity. 3 is 0 amps. Say again, Jack.
Hello, Control Houston. Continuing to troubleshoot with the Apollo 13 crew, closely watching oxygen quantities and pressures in the command module. Isolating the surge tank leaves oxygen for entry if this should become necessary. So if necessary, the 13 crew could open the tunnel and use oxygen from the lunar module.
Apollo 13, how do you read?
Okay, 13, this is Houston. It appears to us that we're losing O2 flow through fuel cell 3. So we want you to close the react valve on fuel cell 3. It looks like fuel cell 1 and 2 are trying to hold up okay. You copy?
You're saying fuel cell 1 and 2 are trying to hold up, but we're leaking O2 out of fuel cell 3. And you want me to shut the react valve on fuel cell 3. Did I hear you right?
That's affirmative. Close the react valve on fuel cell 3.
Okay. I'll go to the SSR page. You want me to go through that whole smash for fuel cell shutdown, is that correct?
Stand by.
Apollo 13 now 180,098 nautical miles from Earth. Velocity now reading 3,219 feet per second. We're at 56 hours, 58 minutes now into the flight.
Okay, 13, we want you to turn the inline heaters off on fuel cell 1. We want you to go through the fuel cell shutdown procedure on fuel cell 3. Read back.
Okay, shut down the inline heaters on fuel cell 1. We're proceeding with the shutdown special subroutine for fuel cell 3.
That's affirmative.
Okay.
13 Omni Bravo, please. 13 Houston, over.
Go ahead.
Okay, you got Omni Bravo, and we'd like to have you verify that the tape recorder is off, please.
That's verified. Okay, Jack, I'm sitting here with an 0618 showing. I can't get rid of it here. Stand by, just did. Okay, fuel cell 3 reactor off, Houston.
Roger, Jim, thank you.
Well, Control Houston, speaking from the spacecraft for most of that conversation has been module pilot Fred Hayes. We're at 57 hours, 1 minute, now into the flight.
Okay, Jack, step 2, special subroutine 1 of the fuel cell procedures has been completed.
Roger, thank you.
Okay, Jack, I'd like to bring on Jet A4. I've got no negative pitch control, in right now in either direct or auto coils.
Okay, you say no pitch in either direct or auto. You want to bring on A4?
I got a positive pitch rate, and I can't stop it.
Okay. Okay, Jack, bring A4 on Stop your pitch rate.
Okay, that got it.
And 13, we need Omni Charlie, please.
Omni Charlie.
And Fredo, we'd like to have you verify fuel cell reactance. Talkback is barber pole.
That's fine. I watched it, and it went barber pole as I threw the switch.
Roger.
All flight controllers, I'm handing over to Glenn. I assume the majority of other team guys are pretty much briefed and up to speed as best we can. Now, what I'd suggest is the white team do two things. They go over the D-logs. Okay, Jack, let me give you a thruster configuration right now. Able 1, Charlie 1, Able 2 are off. Charlie 2, main A. All the thrusters that I call it are on main A. Baker 1 off, Dog 1 on, Baker 2 off, Dog 2 on, Able 3, Charlie 3, Able 4, Charlie 4 on, Baker 3 off, Dog 3 on, Baker 4 off, Dog 4 on.
Okay, Jack, that thruster configuration looks okay.
All right. Okay, do you want some readings from the systems test meter regarding fuel cells?
Stand by one on that, Jack. Let me
We've
ask
got some incompatibilities here.
Okay, 13, we'd like to have you give us those systems test readings on fuel cell 1 and 3, please.
Okay, 1 and 3, come on up. Okay, Jack, 1A is reading lower scale, 0. B is reading 3.45. Okay, only one fuel cells, 1 and 3, okay, ignore that. 1B reading 1C is reading 3.4. 1D is reading 2.4. B is reading 0.25.
Is that 2 Bravo, Fred?
2 Bravo is reading about 0.25 to 0.3.
Let me get back with you, man. Flight. Stand by on these readouts.
This is Apollo Control Houston, 57 hours, 11 minutes.
4.1.
We now show an altitude of 180,521 nautical miles. Here in Mission Control, we're now looking towards an alternate mission, swinging around the moon and using the lunar module power systems because of the situation that has developed here this evening. We now show a velocity of 3,210 feet per second. This is Apollo Control Houston.
Yes,